Welcome to Lumen Field here in Seattle as the Lions were on pace to compete with the Seattle Seahawks. Lions looking for their third win on the season, going up against Pete Carroll's squad that had only 5 wins before today. The final, spoiler alert, 51-29. This one became a shootout here in the second half. Joined by Lomas Brown, I'm Dannie Rogers. Man, another game without quarterback Jared Goff in the starting lineup. Goff, who had battled COVID last week, battled a knee injury this week, and that means Tim Boyle had to step up there for his third career start ever, his third start this season. Lomas, your first thoughts from this game as before we send it out to head coach Dan Campbell?
Yeah, they competed in the second half. I can't say that about the first half, Danny. They really put themselves behind the 8 ball, and that's what you didn't expect out this team. I really expected them to come out and compete a lot more. Just disappointed by the outcome and disappointed by the effort too.
10-0 after the first quarter, and then it's 31-7 going into the half. That touchdown coming from rookie Amon-Ra St. Brown, his first career rushing touchdown, 26 yards to the house, his 5th score in 5 games. All right, let's hear from the head coach Dan Campbell now, who's standing at the podium.
Stop the run. Couldn't stop the run, and then we didn't run it very well, you know. And so that was kind of the essence of this game, and no, I mean, we just, you know, not until I really look at it. I know this, we were, you know, we were getting cut off backside. We weren't where we were supposed to be on a few things, whether it by, who knows, I got to look at the tape, all right? But I know this, we weren't stopping it, you know. And look, Penny's a hell of a player. He is. But when you let him get going, then you're making that quarterback 10 times better than he already is, and that's tough, you know. And then offensively, you got to match them. You know, I felt like it knocked the wind out of us when we didn't get the 4th and, you know, inches or half a yard, whatever you want to call it. You know, because we'd gotten a 3 and out, and we drove it well, and then we don't come away, and then, you know, we didn't respond after that. Probably the most frustrating thing to me, I mean, look, that's all frustrating, but when we pulled it back within 2 scores, man, I really thought, all right, this is a chance to get this thing back in our favor. We'll get a stop here, turnover, and now we make this a 1-possession game, and we couldn't do it, you know. And that really disappointed me even more than the other stuff, to be honest with you. Yep, didn't tackle well. You said it. You saw it, man. It wasn't. It just was not well. Was not good. Was not good.
You kind of hit on it when you got back within 2 scores, or also with the Amon-Ra touchdown, maybe some momentum off of there.
Yeah.
9 straight possessions they scored, including I think 6 of 7 with touchdowns. I mean, can you just give me a sense of what that feels like as a coach? Is it a helpless feeling when you can't?
I mean, you just. Yeah. I mean, look, you have faith that we're gonna pull out of it. It's what you do, honestly. Yeah, there's a feeling of, you know, look, you kind of have to throw your game plan out the window, you know, particularly on the other side of the ball, and because now you know you got to get chunks, you got to score, you know, you got to do things a little bit different than you would have, certainly a lot different. All right, and that wasn't the game that we wanted to put on Tim. And, you know, that didn't help. But yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of that. And then you score, and then let's onside kick. And, you know, but at the same token, when you really believe, like I believed our defense would get out of it, you know, like we'll pull out of this. We'll find a way to respond. It was tough, man. And then it doesn't help there towards the end when you know, we turned the ball over offensively, and now they're back on the field. And so we didn't compliment each other at all. But look, once it comes to a game like that, like sometimes, unfortunately, this stuff happens, and you know, offensively, we got to score. Then you got to score. You got to match them, match for match. They're going to score. We got to score. They score. We score. They score. We score. And we didn't do that. You know, we 2 turnovers, and we don't get a 4th down conversion. So offensively, we didn't do what we needed to do either.
Look at the positives, but you guys needed a lot from St. Brown in this one with you know, Khalif out, Josh out. Just his performance, being able to move him around the ball in different ways and in response to that, and stepping up when needed to. positives from today?
Yeah, I mean, he's been steady for us. You know, he's a steady, reliable player, and you know, it's one thing to do it once, and you feel a little bit better after twice. But now, when you start stacking them like he is, that's a consistent player. That's a productive, consistent player, and those guys I think are hard to find. So I'm glad we got him, and as long as he just keeps trending the way he is, he'll be just fine.
I'm curious, your defense has played well since the bye week, seemingly a little bit better every week. This is obviously a big setback from that. How does a game like this factor in to the big picture evaluation of where you guys are at as kind of coming down to an injury?
Yeah, look, I think you have to take you take everything. You take it all into account. I think you got to be careful not to just judge everything off of one game. But I know this. Here's the beauty. We got one left. And so if you go through it and you look and you say, you know what, it's funny how all of a sudden with two left, maybe someone's performance didn't look as good with two left. Well, you do take that into account. You can't judge it off of one. I don't believe that, but take the totality. But I do think there's something to be said with two left if it's the same type of performance. And there again, that's after you watch the tape and see if there's something there that's, you know. But I know this: if we play like this against Green Bay, it'll be the same score. Those are the facts. So.
Did you have any sign of this? I mean, you know, like Justin said, you had played pretty well since the bye,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, early on up with both sides of the ball, front maybe. They were taking it to you a little bit. Was it just that fourth down thing that snowballed it, or did you?
No, I mean, look, you can't. I threw that out there, but I'm not. You can't. I don't think we can judge it off of that. I mean, that was early in the game. We had a chance to bounce back. It just felt like, my gosh, you know, it's like we 3 and out. We're moving the ball great, and then all of a sudden we stop, and then it's like the floodgates open. So I just threw that out there. But no, I didn't see a sign of this coming. You know. And there again, you never know the psyche of a team, and if it is because that just shows that we're not quite, you know, where we want to be mentally as far as being able to handle adversity and some of those things, you know. But you never know, right? You do. You go down and you score. We get a 3 and out. We convert that to a first down. You score 7. Who knows? You just don't know. But
The challenge there was that maybe to prevent that momentum from flipping?
yeah, look, I got it was they weren't showing it upstairs, and I felt like it was one of those critical ones. I'm like, you know what, I want to challenge it, and we're not getting a viewing of it. And I think there was a real late I'd gotten, hey, look, I don't know if you're going to win this. So it wasn't like somebody's telling me upstairs. I took a shot on it. I'm like, this is too big of a play not to challenge. So I just felt that way, even though it was early. And of course, I'm standing right there too. I felt like he got it, but he didn't. So, but you know. There again, they stopped us.
What was your sense of effort in this one from the sideline view?
Yeah, no, I thought the effort was good. I mean, look, I bring it up again. I mean, we battled. We fought our way back to where we were within two-score game. So it was there. It just, look, the details to it, some of the finish, I didn't think was what it's been, just as far as, you know, how you're going to finish through a gap or you know, on some of our blocks. And look, until you really watch it on the film, you're not going to know. And I guarantee you a lot of this is going to be, man, it's one guy here, it's one guy there, it's one guy, you know, it's not going to be. And unfortunately, it doesn't matter. If you're making a mistake now and then your teammate makes it the next time and then he makes it the next time, it's still, those things add up. And it only takes one guy to kill a play on both sides of the ball. So, but we'll see. I didn't feel like the effort, it was a lack of effort. It just, listen, man, they did some good stuff, and they got after us. We didn't respond.
Sorry, was it mostly the tackling in your opinion? You guys were so good last week in Atlanta.
Yeah, look, the tackling wasn't good, but look, there was times where he's untouched running to our safeties. I mean, so that's, okay, yeah, we need to tackle better once he's 20 yards downfield, but before he gets there, I mean, there was some gaping holes in there that we've done a pretty good job of lately, of handling that stuff. And I felt like we were getting we got gashed a little bit.
Is there anything to be said? I mean, you're missing your veteran leader at every level of defense now. Amani, Alex, Brockers. Is that something you see it playing into a struggle like this?
Well, I mean, I don't want to use that as an excuse. It always helps to have those guys here. It certainly would help us. That makes us better. But at the same token, it's like, look, I said this before. Hey, man, our young bucks, we're about to go into week 17 or week 18, 17th game. We just finished our 16th. So by now, if you hadn't grown up, then we haven't done a good job of getting you to grow up fast enough. So I don't want to use those guys as an excuse. They're good players, and they've been great leaders for us, but they've rubbed off on those guys.
Last Monday, obviously threw the one pass to Nelson. He had offensive lineman hands. Decker had made a nice little catch on his. Trying to be creative, I guess, with the limitations that you guys have.
You're doing what you can with what you got. And it was a good job, and good job by Decker. It was a good sell. And Nelson was good. He's wide open. It just didn't work out. Like, you're doing all you can. You're shooting all your bullets, man. You're trying to find a way to score. So.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Stop the run. Couldn't stop the run.
Welcome back to Lumen Field, joined by Lomas Brown. I'm Dannie Rogers. Head coach Dan Campbell said it, that these Lions needed to match every single score that these Seahawks put up. 51 points in total. I mean, last week you saw scoring drives that lasted about 7 minutes for the Lions. Why could they not sustain drives and get points up on the board early today?
Yeah, it's puzzling, Danny, because again, I thought Tim played pretty good in the first half last week, and I thought he moved this offense consistently. I think they just got out their zone. They weren't playing aggressive today. We didn't control the line of scrimmage like we did last week. Seattle did that. I thought Seattle took the fight to us today, and that's unusual. It's unusual for a Dan Campbell team. It's unusual for this team this year because they have been fighting, but they just didn't come out with the emotion that you needed to see. Now, the second half was a little better, but again, when you fall behind like that to a team at home and as good as they are, it's going to be hard to go up that hill.
Let's take a look at the final stats from this game. Seattle Seahawks, their offense, incredibly balanced. Over 260 yards in the air from Russell Wilson, over 230 yards on the ground. Why was this defense just not stopping that offensive attack? Yeah,
again, I just think it started up front. I just thought it was the aggressiveness. If you think about it, they scored 9 straight times after going 3 and out for the first series. And, again, you would think the defense would be able to make some adjustments, but they weren't able to make the adjustments that they needed to make today. And like I say, it was just to me, it was the will and the want to get out there and stop this team, but it just wasn't in the Lions today. And, and Coach Campbell said that today. So, again, you go back to the drawing board that you hope that these guys could get better off that. They're going to have to watch this film. There's going to be some ugly film watching that's going to have to take place, but you're going to have to do that so you could come out and give a better effort next week.
Running back DeAndre Swift came back for the first time in over a month after dealing with a shoulder injury. Doesn't do a whole lot of anything on the ground, just 32 yards on the day. That led all Lions rushers. On the flip side, Seattle's Rashad Penny.
Oh, my
Lanta.
Yes.
170 yards on 25 attempts today. 2 touchdowns.
Yes.
If you take him out of the game, you take almost this entire run game out.
Thank you. You're exactly right. And you take that aggressiveness out. You take the physicality out the game. I mean, he ran hard. You give him his credit. He ran hard. I thought his offensive line blocked very well for him. We didn't do a great job of getting off our blocks as a defense. And again, he was breaking tackles, Danny. A couple of times guys had opportunity to come up and make tackles on them. They either missed them or he ran through him and he got the extra yardage that he needs. So you give them a lot of credit. They came out with an aggressive attitude from the start of the game to the finish of that game.
Very uncharacteristic of Detroit's defense, who has stepped up as of late. However, they did allow 3 passing touchdowns to DK Metcalf as well. A career day for him. What was just not clicking in the secondary?
Yeah, again, and the guys, and they were in position. That's what's the puzzling part. The guys put themselves in position, but there was little fundamental things. Danny, getting your head back to locate the ball. Just little things that you work on every day in practice. They just didn't carry what they were practicing on the practice field into the game day today. And when you go up against a Tyler Lockett, a DK Metcalf, when you go up against quality receivers like that, if you don't put yourself in position or make the right play against those guys, they will make you pay, and that's what happened today.
Of course, I mean, the defense is missing Amani-Oruwariye, who's
Yes.
put on IR. Alex Anzalone in that linebacking core, along with Josh Woods, was also put on IR. But you keep hearing it week after week. Aaron Glenn it's a next man up mentality.
Exactly
All of
right.
these grown professional men are getting paid paychecks.
That's right.
They just weren't stepping up today.
They weren't, and again, I think I could truly say this was the first time I think the defense missed a lot of those starters that you just named that weren't out there on the field today. But just like Aaron Glenn says, if you're out on the field, you're expected to play at a certain level. Those guys just didn't play at the level that they are expected to play at today, and it showed. It really, really showed today.
Austin Bryant, who's one of the veterans on this team, he had a sack today. That's 4.5 on the season so far. He did not record a single sack in his other 2 seasons in the league. What's working for him right now?
I love Austin, and it's just his hustle. It's his determination. I mean, the one sack that he had, he just beat the guy around the corner, and it was just continuously his effort to want to get to the quarterback. To me, when he gets in there, he makes splash plays. He really does. He's making tackles for losses, or again, he's getting to the quarterback. I love his energy. I love the way he plays, and he's a young guy that's just getting better and better and better.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, 8 receptions on the day. 5 times he has scored in 5 games. Today he has over 100 receiving yards, caps it off with 111, 1 touchdown in the air, his first rushing touchdown on the ground. Amon-Ra St. Brown, what's his ceiling right now that you're seeing?
Oh, Dan, it's way up there, Danny. And what I love about what they do for him, they put him in different positions. He'll line up in the slot. He'll line up out wide. He'll line up in the backfield. You don't know where he's going to line up at, and it makes it hard for the defense to kind of pinpoint where he is at all time. And, man, he runs, like I say, he runs such great routes, too, that he gets himself open. So a young guy, a rookie, the guy he doesn't play like a rookie. He really doesn't. So his limit, his sky is just way, way up here. And I expect a lot more from him. Once we get a guy that can complement him, I expect his game to just keep getting better and better.
St. Brown really had no choice but to step up today with a depleted receivers room. You had Brock Wright, tight end, out with COVID.
Yes.
Josh Reynolds out with COVID. Khalif Raymond also on the COVID list. And then you also had Jason Kabinda, who's now down with a knee injury he suffered in Atlanta. He's been a big part of this receiving core also, and blocking and a lot of this game plan for the Lions. Plus, these Lions also did not have big man V. Vaitai on the offensive line due to COVID, as well as defensive lineman Michael Brockers. So a lot of holes in here. You can't forget about that. But it's always been the next man up mentality.
That's right, and that's what you have to take into the NFL, because if you think about it, every team is dealing with this, either COVID or injuries, especially at this time of the year. So you really can't use that as an excuse. And, I think that might have been why the big men got touchdowns today, because all the other guys were out. So you got the big guys that you need to throw the ball to. Proud of those guys, too.
How could we forget? That third quarter, man, that was something else. Amon-Ra St. Brown gets the scoring going. And then you have a pass attempt to big man.
Yes, Matt Nelson.
Yep. Doesn't catch it. So they go with option number 2, Taylor Decker.
He showed the speed. He showed the hands. He showed great form pulling it in. Loved the spike. I just loved everything about that play. And, I get a little jealous, just a little bit, because I played 18 years and never got a big man touchdown. But I'm happy to see a big man get one.
And that is Taylor Decker's second touchdown of his career.
Oh, my gosh. he is just setting records, man. He's just catching it everywhere. But I'm proud of him, proud of the play calling. And, the play calling was great today, so I was happy to see him get a touchdown today.
That third quarter really was a surge in this game, but we're going back to the second quarter. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, my producer told me that Amon-Ra was the play of the game. I'm like, no, maybe the big man touchdown should be. So we're throwing it back to the Taylor Decker touchdown in the third quarter. What a big play. It was definitely a surge of momentum that these Lions needed. You knew that they were going to try to throw the kitchen sink after that onside kick. You knew things were coming from these Detroit Lions, and that was one of them. From your perspective, being a former offensive lineman for 18 years, like you mentioned, Lomas, What is the joy that it brings a big man to score a touchdown?
First, it's bragging rights. You know, you get to call all your buddies and tell them, hey, I just scored an NFL touchdown. And if you had a touchdown dance, you get to break it out then, you know, even though the big fella didn't break out the touchdown dance. But it's always, man, if you could get your hands on the ball and get across that end zone as an offensive lineman, that's something you'll cherish the rest of your life.
Man.
Yeah, I know, Danny.
Lions just couldn't get it done there in the fourth quarter. It looked a little depleted. You had 3 interceptions from quarterback Tim Boyle. I mean, Jared Goff is still questionable for the final game of the season going up against the Green Bay Packers. Lions run with Boyle. You've got Blau there, too, on the sideline.
Yeah, you know, and I was kind of shocked that David didn't get an opportunity. David Blau didn't get an opportunity to come into the game. Yeah, Tim struggled a little bit. But, you know, you got young guys. We have to find out who's going to be our backup next year. You know, we know Jared will be back for another year, but who's going to back Jared up? And I think that's what the coaching staff, I think that's what they're trying to get out of this. Who's going to be the backup quarterback behind Jared Goff next year?
Tim Boyle attempting 37 passes today. That is not the amount of attempts that Dan Campbell wants to see out of his quarterbacks. Completes 22 of them. But let's hear from Boyle himself now standing by at the podium.
Scoring after drive. How prepared did you feel for, I guess, having to score every drive? What's that like?
I mean, yeah, that's the mindset going into each possession. You know, you got to hats off to their offense and their defense. You know, obviously they were going down and scoring at will, and on offense, you know, we kind of went to the game thinking we were going to lean on them up front a little bit, but they had a good game plan. You know, they put 5 bigs on our 5 bigs and kind of matched us up front. We had a tough time running the ball early, but you know, one thing I will say about our offensive line, they protected me really well tonight. They got some weird looks. Seattle got some weird looks. We handled it really well. So, yeah, you know, as the game progressed a little bit, you know, the thought process had to change. Of, you know, you got to go down and score, and you know, when you're not running the ball as efficiently as you want, you know, you kind of have to lean on the pass game. So, at the end of the day, you know, you know, the ball's in my hand. I got to go make plays, and I got to be smart with the ball, and can't turn it over 3 times.
Dan said he felt like maybe some life was sucked out of you guys after that fourth down. You failed to pick that one up early. It was super early in the game, but did you sense that at all too? Like that was
Yeah, I mean, whenever you're 4th and inches and you get stuffed, you know, there's some, oh, that really sucks. I don't think it really affected our whole game. You know, I think we do a good job, and Coach Campbell and our offensive staff does a good job of making sure that, you know, each drive is its own individual kind of entity. So he might be right when it says, you know, take the wind out of our sails, but I think in that moment it might have, because we had a great drive going. You know, we got all the way down. I don't know what the yard line was, but running the ball well, we passed the ball well, and we got down there. And, you know, when you get stuffed on 4th down, it always hurts. But I think we did a good job as the kind of game progressed of putting that behind us and trying to go score some more points.
On the 3 interceptions, 2 of them bounced off your receiver's hands. How much of that was on you, or just maybe the chemistry of you and the receiver?
It's always on me. It's always on me. It's accuracy, it's decision-making, it's timing. All 3 of them are on me, and that's something I have to assess with myself. Our turnovers, you know, I can't keep doing that to the team. And ultimately, the quarterback touches the ball every down, and I have to be smarter with the football, and I have to continue to create a plan when kind of things break down, or you know, being able to move in the pocket a little bit to see different things. But I think that's kind of where I got in trouble tonight. You know, I couldn't see really TK when I threw him that stick route. I saw him break out of it. I didn't know what extent he kind of broke out of it. He kind of tight turned it, and I expected me to doubt him with the ball, and you know, kind of put it outside too much, and that was one of the interceptions. And then the other one late in the game to Saint, you know, I kind of had to move a little bit so I can get vision, and by that time I just physically couldn't put enough on the ball. I think they gave us the coverage we were looking for, but the corner made a good play, kind of sloughing off and adjusting to the throw. But and then the first interception is just a horrible mistake on my part that fortunately I'll be able to bank and never do again, but hurts. You know, 3 interceptions, you can't do that. You know, you're never going to have an opportunity when you turn the ball over 3 times in a game.
You played pretty well last week, obviously, second start, big step forward. I thought that. Is this, like, you'll bank everything, but do you still feel like it's a step forward can still be a step forward for you in your progression?
I have to make it a step forward. Yeah, I have to. It's start number 3, and I expect myself, along with my coaches and my teammates, for me to continue to get better. But ultimately, like I tell you guys, it's how many opportunities am I going to be given to make these mistakes? And in my mind, in the NFL, it's all about production. So I have to address and assess my ability to make decisions and be more accurate, and that's going to be a conscious effort moving forward. But to answer your question, I think perspective on the game. It's emotional, and I'm an emotional person to start with, and it just sucks. But I have to be better with the football. But to answer your question, I felt like I saw the field well. I felt like majority of the time I made good decisions, especially in moments where we were leaning on the pass heavy. But you're always going to remember the bad ones, and the bad ones most of the time affect the game the heaviest. So I have to assess that.
I know we keep asking about St. Brown because he keeps doing it week after week after week. Playing with a backup quarterback, no Josh Reynolds, the guy that maybe takes some pressure off from Amon-Ra. He still goes out and he has his biggest output of the year with 100+ yards, 26-yard touchdown run. Why is he able to keep having this success despite maybe the other factors not being there that might help him out to have that success?
Yeah, I mean, he's a true professional. He gets at such a young age, and he's a rookie, and he gets what it means to be a professional. He works hard. He asks the right questions. He's always talking to the quarterbacks. But then you also have the physical side of it where he's just a natural football player. He really is. He's got great feel. You hand the ball off to him. He's just so versatile. And I said to him after the game, it's a pleasure being out there with him because players like that make quarterbacks like me better. When you don't have to be perfect, and guys like that can go out there and make plays for you. But we are very lucky to have him on this team, and he loves being here, which is the best part. He's friends with everyone in the locker room. Always got a smile on his face. He's a true professional, and I know we're all very proud of him in the quarterback room.
Guys, 2 more, please.
Does he talk to quarterbacks more than is usual for this season?
One more time, sorry.
You mentioned that he talks to
Yep.
quarterbacks a lot. Is it time to be a professional? I'm just curious if he talks to quarterbacks more often than receivers.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's more. It's just the level of question, just kind of understand why we're killing certain plays so he can kind of anticipate what we're thinking. I think the best receivers / tight end running backs are the players who are mentally kind of understanding what we understand with the game. It's not just reacting and going out there. It's understanding what we're seeing and why we're doing X, Y, Z, and I think that's what is so special about him. He's just an instinctive, smart football player.
Big picture, how do you sort of explain just that, you guys have played pretty well since the bye, so how do you just explain today?
Yeah, it's chemistry. It's as this 2021 team has more reps and we are together more, we become closer as a team, and we love each other. And Jamal just spoke to us in the locker room, but it's the last time we're going to be together next week as a 2021 team, and we owe it to each other to be professionals and go out there and prepare and go get ready to beat the Packers. And that's just that's the mindset that this football team has. And I know Coach Campbell speaks on it all the time about the grit of this team, but it really is true. It's not a lot of 2-win teams are fighting the way we fight, and that starts with our head guy, and we're very grateful for that. But it's really willpower at that point. We want to go out there and give it everything we have every week for each other, and that's kind of the message kind of since the bye is just it's go time for each other. You got to lean on each other. It's not really about them; it's about us. So.
Was that missing today though? That willpower, that fight, was that still?
No, we have fight. We're always having willpower. I know I'm the quarterback of this team, today, but I'm extremely proud of how we fought. As much as successful as they were on offense, and at times down on offense, we continue to fight. I throw a horrible interception, and I have everyone kind of on the sideline, picking me up and making, hey, turn the page. We go out there, we score 2 touchdowns. That's football. That's adversity, and that's grit. And we went out there and we fought, and they're long drives, and people are tired, but we do that for each other.
Thanks, guys.
Decker, can you just give a quick word on that? The pass to Decker. Thrilled that play got called. We kind of had that play up all week and had to look for it, and I think the safety played it well, but I put it in a spot where Decker could kind of go high point it, and
I don't think I've ever seen an offensive lineman, really like look in a ball as much as he did. So special play, and I'll remember that one forever. And I certainly hope he will forever too.
He left his feet for it, too.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Thanks, guys.
Boyle was able to stretch the field today. 31-yard dagger to Amon-Ra St. Brown, a 42-yard pass to Kadero Hodge, who had a career day, 76 yards altogether, and then also an explosive 23-yard pass to Trinity Benson. Could not string them all together, though, to put together a performance that would outwork 3 interceptions on the day.
Yeah, those turnovers, those interceptions, they were crucial. And again, when you're behind and you're trying to fight to get back in the game, everything has to go perfectly for you, and that just didn't happen. The offense seemed to be have gotten their feet up under them, especially, like I said, in the second half. But again, you can't have crucial turnovers, and that's what happened to Tim Boyle late in the game. And it just kills all the momentum that you have, Danny.
Of course, we mentioned it. Some key playmakers in the past game, like Josh Reynolds, Jason Kambinda, who has recently come on, Khalif Raymond, they were all out either due to injury or COVID. So some key pieces were out. But if Boyle does have to go again next week against the Packers for this season finale, if Goff cannot go due to his knee injury, what does he need to learn from the most from this performance?
Well, the thing he has to do is that ball. That's the most important thing. Every possession, you have to make every possession count. And if you have to throw the ball away, throw it away instead of putting it in harm's wrist. And I think that's what they have to do. And I think that's what Tim is having to do. And look, you're talking about a guy that's only made his 3rd career start today. So it's a lot of experiences, a lot of things that he has to learn and he has to get going.
All right, the final here from Lumen Field, 51-29. Let's take a look at the other scores around the league. LA playing Baltimore, the Rams squeezing this one out, 20-19.
Yeah.
Atlanta falling to Buffalo, 29-15 the score in that one. Chicago getting a big win over the New York Giants, 29-3. Ooh, Cincinnati pulling out a big one over KC. I think they clinched their division with that, 34-31 the final. Las Vegas inching out a close one to Indy. What?
That's
23-20. That is a big play. New England putting up 50 points against Jacksonville, 50-10 the final in that one. Tampa Bay sneaking past the New York Jets, 28-24. Drama in that game. Check your Twitter if you don't know yet. Plenty of more things going around the NFL. You've of course got Monday Night Football, Cleveland taking on Pittsburgh, Minnesota and Green Bay just kicking off a few minutes ago. And that brings us to the final week of this season. Lions are going to go up against their foe, Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers coming in. Hopefully the toe, I don't know. I don't even know what the toe situation is anymore. But what are your first thoughts as the Lions try to get their 3rd win on the season against a team like Green Bay, who has clinched the playoffs a few games ago?
Yeah, spoiler. I want to be the spoiler. I want to send them out on a sour note. I want to send us out on a good note and send them out on the sour note. Like you say, they've already clinched the playoffs. I think they might still be trying to get home field advantage. Yep, get that #1 seed. So hopefully we'll be able to put our best foot forward, our best toe forward too. You like that?
No,
huh?
I don't at all, Lomas. No, I don't actually at all. So there's going to be some key players who need to step up. Still questionable about Jared Goff returning.
Yes.
You may get more players off the COVID-19 list. However, like a new week, it always is. There's potential for more players to go on that COVID-19 list. So really important for these players to stay healthy due to either injury or COVID here in this last week to potentially play that spoiler rule. But the Lions have laid a good foundation for the younger players on this team, like Amon-Ra St. Brown, Penny Sewell, 2 draft picks. If it's up to you, Lomas, I mean, I was thinking about this today. You have Penny Sewell, who's been so consistent. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's come on in the latter part of this season. Which one leaves you more starstruck after their rookie season?
Wow, that's a great question. I think Amon-Ra. It really is, because again, Danny, it seems like every play the guy's open and guys know about him now. He's not a secret in this league anymore. So you normally try to, as a defense, you key in on a guy like that, and they had been trying to key in on them, but it hadn't done any good. This guy is always open. He's always making play. So I think that's been the most eye-opening performance, even though, you know, I'm a big fella and I love the big fellas. But, yeah, he's been doing a nice job, Danny.
I agree. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown has been eye-opening, but Penei Sewell has just been a beast.
He's a
so
beast.
Consistent,
I like
not
that.
playing like
I
a rookie.
like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Love it.
We are standing in the cold confines of Lumen Field. We are trying to get back on an airplane and get home by 6 a.m.
That's
tomorrow
right.
morning in Detroit. But what are your final takeaways from this 51-29 dagger to the Lions?
Again, hopefully next week these guys come out with a lot more energy than they started this game with. Again, in the NFL, it's hard. Once you fall behind, it's hard trying to play catch up. The Lions found that out the hard way here today. Hopefully they'll be able to come out and give us a much better effort than we got today.
I mean, you did see a great effort from the Lions back when they played the Green Bay Packers on Monday Night Football. They took over the first half. We could potentially see something like that again. I have a feeling the kitchen sink will be thrown.
Let's do it.
Some
Why not?
onside kicks, fake
There
punts.
you go. Exactly.
Big man
touchdowns.
Let's go. We're pumped. All right. The season finale is almost here. But that wraps it up for us here at Lumen Field. For Lomas Brown. You sound like Lomas.
It could
You're really
be my
throwing me off
field.
today.
This could be my field. Lomas
Lomas
Field.
Field. For Lomas Brown, I'm Dannie Rogers. Happy New Year from us here at the Detroit Lions. We'll see you back in Detroit next week for the season finale.